guys, welcome to the show, Waiver Wire. Can you believe this? Week 6. Jim, welcome to the show, man. And I got to say, Breece Hall breakout week. Let's get it, man. What's happening?
Breece Hall is amazing, but you knew it was going to be a good game for him anyway because it was against Denver. But hopefully it seems like the Jets are maybe figuring it out on how to win without Aaron Rodgers, which is good, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, he looked great yesterday. Awesome game.
Breece Hall breakout, man. We got lots to talk about here, including who to pick up at each position for Waiver Wire Week 6. At this point of the game, your team should be solidified, but if not, you want to pay attention. Again, we're going to cover the latest news and notes, talk about some highlights, talk about our teams. It's really exciting. So buckle up, guys. Let's get to it. Before we do, though, manscaped.com. Head over there right now. The code you want to use is ShowerLine20. Save on anything on the site, okay? So we've got, in my hand, I've got the cologne here. I've got the Lawnmower 4.0. I don't know if you can see it here. Amazing, guys. You can trim without worrying about nicks and cuts. I've also got their boxers here, which I wear. They're very comfortable on the balls. Go treat yourself to anything on the site. Got the body scrubber. They got so many products there. Manscaped.com, ShowerLine20. Go to the site right now. I've linked it below here on YouTube and treat yourself to anything on the site. All right, Jim, are you ready to dive into this? I mean, real quick, news and notes and highlights here. Was there any injuries kind of that popped up here? I know T. Higgins missed the week. There's a bunch of guys that missed the week. Anthony Richardson suffered an injury. Oh, and also, I got to mention this. Justin Jefferson, hamstring injury. Guys, this is
no, really?
Yeah, he had a hammy. Let me read this here. Vikings Justin Jefferson was unable to return to the game against KC on Saturday, October 8th, after the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, indicated still very early to protect whether he'd miss more game action. So it's a hamstring. He left the game a little bit. So expect Addison, the guy that we own, to step up a little bit. And again, the injuries are coming up everywhere, man.
They are, man. Jahmyr Gibbs missed this week. T. Higgins, you mentioned. James Conner went down with an injury. So there's, this is the time of the season when this stuff starts to happen, man. It's a rough sport. So, these guys, injuries happen. So you got to be ready for it, and you got to be nimble, and you got to pick up guys off the waiver wire. And like one of our pickups last week, Jaleel McLaughlin did great. He got like 18 fantasy points this week.
Yep.
So happy that happened. Wow, that was a relief. And as far as my teams go, had my best week since week 1. The FFPC went 6-0 in my leagues. So and it looks like there's not going to be any upsets tonight. So I'm on top of the world. I'm feeling much better because my guys remembered how to play football.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. And Sam Laporta, man, I got to toot my own horn here. I mean, there's guys that are crap in the bed that we chose, guys like Najee Harris, man. But like overall, man, I did really well this week. Sam Laporta, Jared Goff. Remember we talked about this. Jared Goff was my backup because Herbert was out. Jared Goff to Laporta carried my teams, except for one league where I crushed it, right? The problem was I was playing a guy who had both Logan Thomas and DJ Moore. So he was up.
Yeah, that's like 80 points right there, just those two guys.
So even though I did well, I played the best team, and that's what happens, guys. Don't get discouraged. Sometimes you end up playing the best team. It's just sometimes it's a luck thing, and sometimes it's a bad luck thing. So again, even though my players did great, sometimes you play the bad team. There's nothing you could do about it. So, let's go into this here. Let's go through each position here. But again, highlighting some of the highs and lows as we go through the position. And we started with quarterbacks. You'll go through the waiver wire. At this point, you should have your quarterback solidified. Like I said, I've always had Justin Herbert. My backups are Brock Purdy and Jared Goff in my leagues. But
Purdy did great too last night. Purdy's
four touchdowns, something like that.
4 touchdowns, man. Holy cow. He's really, really good. A really solid choice if you have him as a backup quarterback. So, yeah.
I'm pulling up your list here. Josh Dobbs, you want to go through your list here? Derek Carr and Josh Dobbs you've got here on the list here for waiver wire if they are available, right?
Yeah. So, as far as, we got another bye week right now. This week, the bye is Packers-Steelers. So it's not really a big impact on the quarterback position. But if you need to pick yourself up a quarterback right now, Derek Carr is playing Houston at home next week. I like that matchup. I like that New Orleans Saints defense. Did you see what they did last night? Yesterday, they got like 26 points or something like that. Just awesome. And that's one of my most widely held defenses is that. But anyway,
Yeah, I
regardless,
see that. They're number one defense, including all Sunday games. So that's pretty good.
yeah,
24
yeah.
points.
So Josh Dobbs of Arizona is playing the LA Rams, and he's been surprisingly effective.
Yeah, not
Was
bad.
not expecting that at all, but he's been pretty good and good for fantasy. Sam Howell goes to Atlanta next week, so I think he's a good choice if you need a quarterback. And then Matthew Stafford looks great, and he's got Cup back. He's doing good. He playing Arizona at home. So I think all four of those guys are good pickups that you could potentially stream this week if you need to.
Interesting. Everybody was so curious about how Puka and Cooper Cup would do. Target distribution: Cooper Cup 12 targets, Puka 11. So very close, up to par here. 7 receptions for Puka, 8 for Cooper Cup. When you look at fantasy points, Puka outdoes him, 20.1 to 19.8.
I think that's because he got the touchdown. I don't think
Yeah,
Cup got a touchdown. So
exactly. But the
they
yardage
both
goes
look great.
118 to 71. So all those people that drafted Cooper Cup got to be pissed, man, because like now Puka is going to eat now. They're going to split that. But either way, it should still be safe for Cooper Cup number wise, because he's still the main guy there. So yeah, I just wanted to break that down because I know a lot of people were asking, the Puka, Cooper Cup, everyone was curious. Pretty much down the middle, so that's interesting. Yeah, with quarterback, and you guys should be solidified. We don't want to spend too much time on that. And again, when you take a look at the highs and lows for this week, I mean, like I said, Justin Fields, I mean, that's not bad. He actually had a good game, right? Isn't he leading the pack this week? I'm sure, yeah, 32.98 points, followed by Josh Allen, who had a slow start to that game. Jared Goff, Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts.
he really saved his fantasy day like in the last 5 minutes of that game. He got that rushing touchdown. It was nice to see. I had him in one of my leagues, so he did very well.
And Joe Burrow redeems himself here, 23.38 points. And him and Jamar Chase are actually firing off now. It's about time. Took 5 weeks.
He remembered how to play football again. I'm very proud of the guy. I think that $55 million haze in his brain. He's like, I got so much money now. But now he's like, oh wait, I actually have to play football. And he did great yesterday.
He literally has a hangover, like literally has a contract. That's what they call a contract hangover. But I think he's kind of sobered up a little bit and he's ready to go. So that's interesting. And one more thing I want to highlight here with quarterbacks, Desmond Ridder, man, he finished 5th amongst quarterbacks, including all Sunday's games, excluding the Monday game. I mean, he had a touchdown. 26.16 points. But Desmond Ridder, man, I can't believe it, man. Like looking okay. He had a high 111.2 passer rating. More than Jalen Hurts, who had an 87.94 for week 5. That's insane.
And Hurts looked amazing yesterday. He was doing great. So good for Ridder. Let's see if he can keep it up. But
I doubt it. But yeah, that game was pissing me off. I want to talk about how much I was pissed off that game because I have Bijan, right? So I'm watching this game. And I keep seeing Algier. It's almost like a direct split, but every time Algier touched the ball, it's like negative yardage. I think we're like 3rd or 4th quarter in. Algier was averaging 1.8 yards per carry, not getting it done, but they kept putting him out. And, Bijan always looking good on runs. And then finally, I'm like, they put him in, and he caught that ball, that receiving touchdown with that amazing catch. So I was like, okay, finally, there's some relief here. But still, man, Algier is taking half the volume. And there's no reason why, because Bijan's better. And this is what pisses me off, because like you look at how well CMC's doing, because he gets the volume. And all these guys are hindered because of other people. And that's what pisses me off. The potential is limited. And we saw at Breece Hall, they were using Dalvin Cook initially. He wasn't on full rep count. As soon as you give them the opportunity, they have an opportunity to really crush it. So yeah, man, but Bijan is really hindered with Algier. Algier's got to go away.
Yeah, and I think also Bijan also wasn't much involved in the passing game yesterday. He only got like 2 targets or something, and that's unusual as well. He's usually been getting about 6 targets a game, and so thankfully he did get the touchdown, saved his fantasy day. But it was still kind of it was disappointing to see that.
I was so upset. And even Drake London was not getting the ball at all. Like they were throwing to everybody but Drake London. They were throwing to tight ends we never heard of, wide receivers that are like 5th on the depth chart. I don't even know who they were. And I was pissed. So I did a post, I did a tweet. I said, there's got to be some sort of sexual relations between Drake London and coaching staff.
That's the first place you go, man.
I'm trying to use some logic here, like either Bijan with the coach's wife or someone's mother on the coaching staff, because I don't understand here. Bijan and Drake London are your best players. Use them. And as you can see, when they were driving near the end in the fourth quarter, Drake London was used. He was coming down with the ball very nicely. And every time Bijan touches the ball, it's pretty much a highlight reel. Like, he's got vision that I've never seen before. He's got the eagle eye, and he's playing for the Falcons. That's all I got to say about Bijan. He's amazing, man.
Right, right.
Eye of the Tiger, Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Beat him.
Yeah.
Beat him. That's it.
Absolutely. Give him the ball more. I mean, he absolutely deserves it. So hopefully we'll see it. But for pickups for running back this week, I'll tell you the name that I want you guys to focus on. This should be your number one waiver wire pick, in my opinion, is Amari DeMarco, who's a player I never heard of before yesterday. But this is the direct backup to James Conner in Arizona. Conner left about halfway through the game. Amari got 10 carries and 3 targets in basically 2 quarters of play, and was effective. He was pretty good. He got like 45 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Also got a catch, got 1 catch for 12 yards. So he ended up with a really decent fantasy game. Apparently Conner twisted his knee or something like that. Well, I don't know if this is at all serious or not. But if Conner misses time again, this is a guy you can immediately start. And so I want that kind of player on my bench at a minimum. So he's going to be my number one pickup this week. Arizona again plays the Rams next week. So, and they've been a surprisingly effective offense so far this season. So
it's crazy. Let's take a look at this real quickly here. Like Zach Moss, first of all, talk about Amari, undrafted free agent running back, who again, all these talent is hidden behind guys that have that suck. Like Javonte is just looking lackluster, getting hurt all the time.
Right.
Look at the talent, and then you look at that's Jaleel McLaughlin. But we're talking Amari. I mean, James Conner's always been mediocre. Like, he's been okay. Now he comes in, Amari shines. Is that sustainable? So you got like guys like Jaleel McLaughlin who step up. Amari, now Jaleel sitting here top 7 running back guys in Sunday's games here, excluding Monday. And then you got Tajay Spears, who could honestly be a 3-down workhorse back himself, because he was that in college, finishing with 16.9 points, having himself a touchdown, taking away from Derrick Henry. Again, but one thing that's scaring me here, though, is like, it feels like, again, hopefully this goes back to the old running back workhorse days, but it seems like they're really, really pushing that out. There's no, like, even like Jonathan Taylor, who I'm pissed off, who got paid as the highest paid running back per year. Zach Moss had more attempts, 23 attempts, and they're easing Jonathan Taylor in. Dude, if I'm getting paid, or I'm paying somebody 50 or whatever, I don't know how many, what is he making, 14 plus million a year, I'm starting him. I'm not going to ease him in at $15 million a year, dude, and make him the highest paid running back. That's what pissed me off, because I started Taylor in one league, which I ended up winning anyway. But this sucks, man. It just pisses me off.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's crazy, right? Had they just paid Jonathan Taylor this summer, he would have been starting since week 1. He would have been already playing 5 games, and he didn't do it. Of course, you said he had that ankle injury. I think it was fake, but I mean, again, hopefully we'll see more. Zach Moss, man, a guy that never, ever did anything in Buffalo. And he's coming out and he is just looking like a world beater, an Indy. I don't get it. I should have picked up Zach Moss. I didn't, because I didn't believe in him as a player. And, but man, that offensive system they got there is pretty good for running backs. So hold on to Zach Moss. If anything happens to Jonathan Taylor again, he's going to be good. So
Eric Gray got 12 attempts, did nothing. If you want him, 2.1 yards per carry. But when bummy Saquon Barkley, who can't stay healthy to save his life, comes back, Eric Gray might not be used, but he's an option here this week.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're just looking at volume here, and like Tajay Spears is not a guy I would start yet, but he did have 7 carries and 5 targets, which is very close. He's like, if you're desperate and you need to start him, I think he's a good choice. They play Baltimore next week, so that's kind of a tough matchup, but it should be fine. Who else we got? Samaje Perine, 6 carries and 5 targets. They're playing at Kansas City this week. Again, not enough to start, but Definitely a guy you want to pick up. Tyler Algier got 17 carries and a target last week. Definitely a guy that needs to be on your bench. If he's available, you should pick him up and put him on your
That's
bench.
crazy, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
and then Kendry Miller, 12 carries and 4 targets. That's New Orleans a running back, which is kind of surprising given that Alvin Kamara is back. He got that much volume, but that's pretty good. That's very positive, and that's a guy I would potentially start if I needed to in my flex spot. So
Justice Hill, if you want some goal line work once in a while, I mean, I think he ended up getting a touchdown.
yeah, there's not enough volume there, really. 7 carries and 4 targets for him, which is good, but I don't think it's good enough to be confident in starting him. Same thing
No.
with Gus Edwards; they just don't get enough volume individually to want to start them. So pure desperation starts if you need them.
All right,
So
moving on to wide receiver here. Some good options to pick up here. You got see again, some of these you should be set, right? But Tyler Boyd did well. I mean, depends on how long, T. Higgins is out, but Tyler Boyd might be an option. Didn't even do well, I'd say, but could get a touchdown here and there, right?
yeah, and as long as T. Higgins is out, again, he's got a rib injury, which is an extremely painful injury.
It
So
lingers.
we don't
Yeah.
know how much time he's going to miss. But yeah, Tyler Boyd got 7 targets, and then who's this guy? Trenton Irwin, another guy.
Who?
Never heard of him before this past week. 10 targets. He got 10 targets on Sunday. So that's a guy that would be a very high priority waiver pickup for me if you're looking at that. Also,
That's
Allen
crazy.
Robinson, the Pittsburgh Steelers, actually got 9 targets yesterday. I guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but they're on a bye, so that's not a guy that you would want to pick up this week. But maybe for next week if you're looking for a wide receiver. KJ Osborne in Minnesota. So you mentioned Justin Jefferson with the
Yeah, good
hamstring
point.
injury. If Jefferson misses time, I think KJ Osborne is a
Steps
good
up.
pickup. 9 targets this past week. That's great. And then finally, Robert Woods got 9 targets as well. He didn't do much with them, but that is pretty good volume. So if he gets you a touchdown, that could be a good bye week player for you.
I was
So
so
I like
upset,
those
man.
guys.
Tank Dell got hurt or something. Apparently, they said it was a
Right,
concussion.
concussion I think is what he
He
got.
didn't even touch
Right.
his head. He just came down with a catch kind of awkwardly, and they rule him out with a concussion. And then CMC gets smoked in the head. Like it was like it got hit by a truck, and they don't observe him for concussion. Again, nothing makes sense. And I tell you, it's a coaching thing, man. If you believe in your players and you keep them out there, which is what the 49ers are doing, they're going to eat. And that's how they should be treating players, man. You get hit, you get back up, you're fine, you're good to go. None of this, I catch a ball and I'm out with a concussion. Like, come on. There was nothing wrong with Tank Dell and they pull him out. This is what bothers me, man. It's coaching.
Well, I mean, they're just being cautious, and I'd
No one
rather have
touched
him
him.
just miss half a game than multiple games. You don't want that to happen.
And
So
then Kelsey came out of the game, and I thought he was done for the season. And then he comes back. Like, how the heck did he come back? I don't get
They
it.
they retaped up his ankle and he was good enough to go. So that was
That's
good.
crazy.
A couple other names that you should keep your eye on and possibly roster. Curtis Samuel got 7 targets at Washington. He's been pretty good this year. And then Jonathan Mingo, 7 targets as well.
Yeah.
So I've already got him on a number of teams. I'm not ready to start him yet, but he is a borderline desperation flex start if you need it. So
So that's 2 consecutive weeks for a guy that's had years to wow us. We're not wowed. And Curtis Samuel, 2 consecutive weeks where he had decent numbers. Pretty 18 points both weeks consecutively. That's pretty insane. 8 targets and 7 targets. Those 2 games. And it's been up from when he started the first 3 weeks. He's like doubled his targets. So Curtis
right.
Samuel, man, I mean, he's become reliable, but even he's what in his 7th season. He was a second round pick in 2017, just sucked for years. Done nothing. He's never had 1,000-yard receiving season.
Right.
You know,
He does have streaks where he's very effective. So this is what he's hot right now. So just go
yeah,
with it,
go with it. Yeah,
So
exactly. So let's move on to tight end here. I mean, like I said, we're Laporta owners, so I'm good with Laporta on my teams. Again, I haven't touched it. So, but yeah, I mean, is there anyone else we want to pick up? I mean, tight end, there's no one really. Adam Troutman finished 10th, right? I mean, if you need him from Denver, other than that, there's no one that really jumps out.
yeah, well, of course, Logan Thomas, he had a huge game this past week. He got 11 targets. They are at Atlanta next, so that's great. I mean, 11 targets for a tight end is pretty darn good.
You know when he was
Dalton
drafted?
Schultz also at Carolina got 10 targets this past week.
Do you know how old
Um,
Logan Thomas is? Do you know when he was drafted? Can you guess what year, without looking, guess what year Logan Thomas was drafted?
I'll guess 2014.
Yeah, good. Yeah, 2014. Yeah, you're
Did I
looking.
guess right?
Yeah, you're peaking, aren't you? Uh, 32
So
years
yeah, so
old.
he's been in the league for like 10 seasons now. But you know, I mean, we just haven't seen him in like 3 years, right? He's been injured for like the past 3 years. But if he's healthy now and he's a part of this offensive game plan, and don't forget, it's Eric Bieniemy calling the shots. That's the offensive coordinator for Kansas City, who gave Travis Kelce all those huge years, year after year. So as long as Logan Thomas stays healthy, I think he's going to continue to be effective here. Um,
Who else you got
but
here?
yeah,
Jordan.
Dalton Schultz actually had a good game. Like I said, 10 targets. Chikakonkwo finally was involved for Tennessee, 9 targets there. And then Jonnu Smith, another 7 targets. Again, it's one of those things where he has a history with the coach, and he is clearly a part of the Atlanta game plan. So he's been getting volume. So all those guys I think are worth picking up.
Sam Laporta to the moon. That's the guy. I told you guys, draft Sam Laporta, draft Sam Laporta, draft Sam Laporta. He was in a prime position to succeed. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets pushed out. Guess what? Sam Laporta gets more volume. Jameer gives out. Sam Laporta gets more volume. Sam Laporta will beat Travis Kelce in fantasy points this year if they keep going at this pace. Looks absolutely dynamic and outstanding. And guess what? He was outside the top 10. He was actually ranked 23rd on the consensus rankings. And guess what? When we're looking at rankings next year, Jim, guess what's going to happen? Sam Laporta is going to be a top 3 tight end. Why?
He will.
Because they're copying and pasting, copying and pasting. Copying and pasting, copying and pasting, copying and pasting. Do you see me like I'm doing the blur vision? It's so annoying. Why didn't you see the Sam Laporta this year? Why don't you see it? I mean, there's some stuff that we can't see, like Jaleel McLaughlin. Like who's gonna predict that? That's so hard to predict, right? But when you got something that's blatantly obvious, an early round pick in a position to succeed, that's where we're light years ahead of it. And again, people are going to say, oh, we knew about Jaleel McLaughlin. No, you did not know about Jaleel McLaughlin.
Nobody knew about him before last week. Come on.
No. Exactly. And they're going to be like, oh, we knew about Trenton Irwin. You don't know who Trenton Irwin is. You're lying. I studied this more than anybody. I did not want to. Trenton Irwin did not make my radar prior to the season. So anyways, let's go through some defenses here. Again, we do a full preview show. We're going to tell you, but for a waiver wire, who are they picking up here?
Right. So I'll tell you the defenses I'm interested in picking up this week. If you need to stream your defense, Miami is playing Carolina at home. That should be a really good game. And Las Vegas gets to play New England, and New England's offense is dog crap, man. They are just about the worst thing in the NFL right now. I'm wondering if Belichick is going to get retired at the end of the season. I think it's going to be sayonara to him.
It's time, and I think Brady's back is still hurting from carrying Belichick all those years too.
yeah, absolutely. But he just looks like a grumpy boomer now. So
He's done. I think isn't he going? I don't know. I don't want to say something, but I thought he was going through some sort of divorce with his girlfriend. He's got this young blonde chick that he was dating or something. I don't know, but I think he was having some issues with his girlfriend or something. I don't know. Colby, let me just look it up here. Bill Belichick girlfriend here.
I don't think that's the problem with the offense. The problem with the offense is that they don't have any playmakers. They've got 0 playmakers on that team. And that's the way it's been for years. Tom Brady was able to make it work, but a lesser talent like Mac Jones can't do what Tom Brady did. It's just a dead zone for offense. So
okay, this is not breaking news, but I want to make everybody aware of this. Bill Belichick had a girlfriend. Like, this is why I was shocked. I can't believe Bill Belichick had a girlfriend here. Him and his longtime girlfriend, Linda Holiday, have gone their separate ways after 16 years together. 16 years, he couldn't lock this one down. Look, she's way out of his league here. Completely out of his league. It looks like his daughter.
Maybe she was just with him just to be near Tom Brady.
There's no way.
That's how she get proximity to Tom Brady.
I remember when I heard this, I'm like, there's no way Bill Belichick has a girlfriend. And when I saw her, I'm like, oh my God, 100% there's some sort of cash involvement, with this. So I'm like, okay, he's with her. And now they've been together 16 years and he hasn't been able to lock her down. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess she was just hanging around. I don't know, for the cash or something like that. But either way, Bill Belichick separated. That was back in September. It's old news. I just had to bring that back up since we were talking about Uncle Billy here, Big Bill, the bully.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be coaching in the NFL next year.
I just can't believe he had a girlfriend. Like I'm really surprised. I mean, the guy looks miserable. Like, do you want to be around? Like, I don't know, man. Can you imagine them? Hey, hon, do you want to go out for dinner? Like, or she's like, honey, do you want to go out for dinner? He's like, no dinner. Like, I guess it's a grumpy bullfrog or whatever. I don't know, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why I should survive 16 years with him. That's why I mean there's some cash involved. But anyway, that's not our business. We'll move on. I just have to talk about it. So there's your waiver wire week 6, guys. Some NFL news, notes, injuries, fantasy football injuries for you covered here on the show. Jim, man, I love these shows, man, and I can't believe week 6, just like that.
Yeah, it just happens super quick. So, everybody out there, keep working that waiver wire, keep improving your team. You need these depth pieces to help you with these injuries, because these injuries are just going to continue to happen. And so you want to be prepared for it. So move on these guys, make some bids, get them on your team.
Happy Thanksgiving, Canada, guys, and happy Columbus Day. And I think you guys, everyone's got a holiday in the U.S. as well, right?
That's right. Got the day off today. So,
all right, guys.
Everybody enjoy, and we'll see you on Thursday for the preview show.
We're out. Talk soon.